One is a world-renowned musician and accomplished songwriter. The other is a popular children's author, and together they've teamed up to create a world where kids can be their own heroes. Joining us now, Dave Matthews and Clete Barrett Smith, authors of If We Were Giants. Gentlemen, thank you very much for spending some time with us this morning. Dave, first off, I know the story didn't come together overnight. How long did it take you to develop it to where you decided that it would make a really good book?
It's funny because that's funny that you say that, because it sort of developed itself sort of at the speed of life, and I was sharing it with my kids, and it kind of inspired by my kids and inspired by the natural world, and you know it wasn't something I didn't think I'd love to write a book. Quite the opposite. I was telling a story to my kids and telling a story to myself, and over years, really, over more than a decade. But it started to sort of become more, as I told it, every time I told it, it would take a little more shape, and eventually I told it, I thought maybe it could be a film, really was my first idea, a movie. I talked to a friend at Disney, Sean Bailey, and then he introduced me to Stephanie Lurie, who's a publisher at Disney. And they said, you should write a book. And I said, I can't write a book. I'm not, you called me an author. I was like, I'm still, although I can spin a yarn, but I'm not an author. And Stephanie introduced me to Clete Barrett Smith, and he is an author.
And he is the author. Well, both of you here, if you could.
It is remarkable.
If both of you could tell us a little bit about the characters, and where did you kind of get the inspiration from some of these characters? I know you said you told some of these stories to your daughters. Did they inspire characters, other folks in your life as you were developing the story?
Yeah, when Dave and I connected, you sit down with a famous celebrity, you want to find some place where you can connect and make that more of a normal conversation. And Dave and I are about the same age, and our kids are about the same age, and our kids are really important to us. And so I think we connected really as fathers first, as dads. And so that was my emotional entry point into the story. Is the main character is a girl who's very resourceful and very intelligent and active and brave, but it really starts with her relationship with her dad. That's how the book starts, and that's how those characters start. And so that was my emotional entry point into Dave's world.
And then what's it like, Clete? I mean, you said you're about the same age as Dave, but I mean, obviously we're all fans of his music. What's it like having Dave Matthews come to you and say, hey, I don't want to write a song maybe right now, but I want to write a book?
Yeah, it was really fun. Once I was a little nervous, not that it was Dave Matthews, but just that I was writing, based on somebody else's idea. But once I got into it, once Dave has so much passion and energy, he really got me excited about his idea. Yeah. And then we dove into it, and he was so collaborative and so open to. I mean, he says he's not an author, but he's a storyteller, and he was so open to the spontaneity of the writing process and the collaboration that it was fun to work on this with him.
And Dave, real quick for you, you said you're a storyteller, and you maybe didn't describe yourself as an author beforehand, but through a lot of your music, I mean, you weave those tales, you tell those stories. Is there any similarities between writing music versus writing the story or writing the book?
I think maybe it is just put yourself into something. There's whatever it is, it's going to connect to you in some way, and for me, connecting to something with my heart is how it works. I mean, obviously, to connect with my mind into something is where I sort of find whatever that sort of creative juice, the liberation, and so if I'm making something that's creative, something that's art, if it's a song, Clete and I were talking about the process, and when I write a song, there's this, when it's right, it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks.
Yeah.
And this book feels very similar to that.
Very cool. Well, gentlemen, it's been a pleasure chatting with you this morning. Thank you so much for your time. He is Dave Matthews, Clete Barrett Smith. Thank you guys very much again, and congratulations and much success to you.
Thanks, Bill.
Thank you.